Hello everyone, my name is Timothy Lee Grant and welcome back to another video in the Vibe Coding series. So what I want to do today is start to explore the MCP, which is Model Context Protocol. So what we're trying to do in these series is trying to understand vibe coding better, trying to be able to increase our capabilities using these AI tools. And one very powerful tool is called MCP. Now, the idea behind this is you have your AI agent, whatever that is, either Cursor or what we're going to be using in this video, which is Copilot. And this AI agent is able to, it lives in its little world. Its world is just my Visual Studio Code environment, that folder. So it knows the code that's in there. It can see the different files. It can change it. It can take actions on those files. But what about if I need to allow my agent to be able to go out into the internet and talk to someone else? And I want it to go either search a database. Maybe the database is somewhere online. Or if I want my agent to be able to go search the internet for best practices or whatever you might want to do, how do I give my AI agent the ability to break out of its little confined area of my workspace and get information from a whole host of other locations? So that's what the MCP protocol actually solves. So it allows my agent to be able to go and interact with different services. Now, today, what I'm going to try to do is, okay, great, we have our Copilot. Now, let's see if we are able to do something very simple. All I want to do is be able to get my agent to tell the time. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to use an MCP server to be able to tell the time. All right, so let me make myself a little bit smaller, and I have my Copilot up and running right now. But first, we need to actually see. Let's just see how to do this. I am working in VS Code and want to use an MCP to allow Copilot, which is kind of strange because I'm using the browser Copilot to be asking about the actual Copilot, but whatever. Okay, allow Copilot to determine the time of day. Okay, how can I do this? Let's see what it says, and let's just try to troubleshoot it if we come into different problems. Okay, so, well, should we go back over the definition? Sure. So MCP, Model Context Protocol, is a way to connect Copilot, right, the AI agent, to an external tool, API, or data source. Yep. In Visual Studio Code, you can run MCP servers that expose capabilities like get current time of day to Copilot. Copilot then calls the MCP server when it needs to refresh data instead of relying on static context. So what we can do is install Copilot in VS Code. We've already done that. Set up an MCP server. Okay, so we have not done this. We need to do this. You'll need to create or run a small MCP server that exposes a method like get time of day. Okay, so this server can be written in Node.js, Python, or C#. So I guess what I'm a little bit confused about is I thought that it was going out into the internet and doing something. But this seems like it's on my local device. Registering the MCP server with Copilot. So in Visual Studio Code, you can configure Copilot to connect your MCP server. Okay, so what I'm thinking is, okay, so what it's sounding like it wants me to do here is instead of going to the internet, I am going to be exposing this data through my local host, my local IP address and then the port number, right? So port 3000 and then localhost. And this is just a API endpoint. So we're doing app.get. So there's going to be a get time of day. So this is just how is this MCP right here? So this is a very interesting thing because this is just an API. This is a standard JavaScript API. So what it seems to be saying is take this script, run it on my local host. This exposes an API, a GET request at localhost 3000, and then it will respond with a JSON of time of day, which is defined as what? It's equal to night, okay? So it can either take on one of these. It can either be night, morning, afternoon, evening. Okay. So register the MCP server with Copilot. So in Visual Studio Code, you configure Copilot to connect with the MCP server. Okay. So initially, when I began this video, I was thinking that the direction of this video was I was going to connect to something out onto the internet. I still think we can do that. But I kind of like the direction that this is going because it allows me to do it myself, and therefore I can understand it at a deeper level. And then from there, then we can go and use an MCP server that someone else created out into the internet. But now I kind of understand it more on an intuitive level, what an MCP server is, how it's working. I was initially thinking that we were just going to connect to the internet. Now, actually, this is a very good suggestion that, no, let's not just connect to the internet. Let's do it ourselves. Let's see what this MCP server is. Let's see how it works. Let's connect everything manually. Then later we can just use the MCP server because then later we understand it. So awesome. I was not expecting to go in this direction, but I'm glad we are taking this path. Okay, so register the MCP server with Copilot. So in Visual Studio Code, you can configure Copilot to connect to your MCP server, okay? This is usually done in the Copilot settings. So we have to go into settings. So first off, let's just copy this, go to here. Now we're in this file. So let's see, open folder. So I'm in this folder right here, but let's actually go and create a new folder here. And I am going to call it my first MCP. Okay, and I'm going to come in here. And now what I should be able to do is do a plus and my time mcp.js. It's going to be a JavaScript. We're going to paste that in there, okay? And now we should just run this, and it will be running on our local host, but then we also need to go and open up a new VS Code, right? And I want to do the Copilot one, so we're going to have two here. Okay, so this is, okay. So we'll run this. We haven't run it yet, but we will run it. And then what I need to do is I need to configure Copilot to connect with MCP. So I can go into copilot json.setting or settings.json. Okay. Let's just run this. New terminal here and oh, come on. What is the Node.js? Is it just Node is it like that? Error. Okay, we are getting errors. Hold up. What is I think I have Express. No? I don't have Express. Node package manager install Express. I think that's the command. Okay. Now can I do this? Running on port 3000. Okay, cool. So now, this one, we can actually test it, I think. I can just come here and do local host 3000 and cannot get. That's not a great thing. Port 3000. We should be getting it. No. New. Okay. Ping local host 3000. Okay, so we're running into a little bit of a snag right now. We're gonna fix this. We're gonna play around with it. Okay. Use it in my project. So first, I want to get into this settings.json. Okay, so I'm gonna come here, and in here, I want to go to settings.json. Is it settings of my actual, like, okay, let's see, settings. Here, okay. So now, it just says where you can declare MCP endpoints, but it doesn't say how to do that. Okay. I created a folder and am running the JavaScript code you gave me. I opened up my VS Code settings.json and okay, JSON. What do I write in it to get this to work? Yeah, okay. Okay, here. Okay, so we will have to change this a little bit. So I have this, and then paste that in there, copilot MCP server. This gives an error, okay. Come on. Node server.js. We didn't call it server.js, first off. Current working directory, absolute path to the folder, okay. Which I can get by doing pwd here, and then copy this here, into there. Come on. Oh my. Okay, this is a little... Wait. Okay, so I'm getting a squiggly line there, and I didn't call it server.js. Like this. So I am getting a squiggly line over this one. And I called my file. What did I call it actually? My time. Come on. Copy. Paste. My first MCP time.js. Okay. So it needs a comma. Okay. Ha! Okay, cool. All right. Yep, that's good now. So arguments is just going to be the file name. Okay. Okay, cool. Let's do that. So I'm gonna have this one here like that, and then this one is here. So I just call it just like this. Okay. My time MCP. Okay. So now I'm gonna say it should be in the folder where JS file lives. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so awesome. Now it seems happy. How do I actually use this? Okay. Okay. Just bouncing around a little bit. Wait for it to. There we go. It's midnight, but I really want to take another sip of coffee, so I'm sorry. It was just a sip. I should not be drinking coffee this late, but I'm excited about this. This stuff is okay. So what you've done so far, you wrote a Node.js script that exposes the current time of day. You're registering it in VS Code, yep, under Copilot MCP servers. This means Copilot can now call your MCP server data source whenever it needs to. Okay, ask Copilot something that requires the time of day. Is that all I need to do? Use MCP server. Let's okay. Do you guys think it's gonna work? I don't know. So instead of agent, we do ask. It's gonna be ask. Kind of like this. But this was not successfully running, right? Oh, wait, hold on. Let me make sure that it is running, though. Okay, so here, but we weren't able to get the correct JSON, or we weren't able to get the correct response when we pinged localhost. Okay. Let's see. Go. Okay, come on, come on. Used. Okay. It seems like MCP's, okay. Create a small Node.js helper that spawns NPC server. What? What? No, that's not. Okay. Create a small Node.js helper that spawns your NPC server per your VS Code, and returns a greeting based on. Okay. So let me just come in here and kill this one. And then I'm going to go my second time mcp.js, okay, like this, and then run that. Well, that just exited immediately. Okay, well. No, come on. I'm trying to copy and paste everything. Come on. And of course it doesn't allow me to just copy and paste. Great. Okay. Or it doesn't scroll when I'm doing this. Because I want to just paste this into here and say it is now giving me some code that it wants me to code. I don't think it worked. And let me just copy this entire code, actually. I can copy the entire code, so. Copy that code and then go back here and just paste it here. Okay. Okay, so it's treat MCP as a web server. Okay, since your MCP script already is an Express server, you should query it over HTTP instead. What? I'm so confused. Hold on. I am so confused. You previously told me You told me to just run the JS code you gave, then add that item to settings.json, and then I can query the time of day. Now, are you saying I need to do more setup? Okay. Okay, so I wrote the Node.js, yep, that runs the MCP server. I registered it with VS Code, yep, under Copilot microservice, yep. VS Code is now able to launch the MCP server alongside Copilot. That's all the setup you need. You don't need to write an extra helper function. You don't need to call MCP server directly in your code. Instead, ask Copilot in VS Code to use it. For example, okay, use wait, hold on a second. What? Hold on a second. Oh, is this a code that I can use and I run myself that queries the MCP? So Copilot wrote code for me to use. Copilot wrote code to query the MCP, but I thought Copilot was the one who should be querying the MCP. Async function. Let's kind of look at this. Query MCP, timeout of 2000, asynchronous function. I kind of wrote this in a easier, like I wrote it in a code editor, so it's easier to read it here. Okay, so let's just read it here. So what's going on? I am creating a process, spawn. Okay. Then we export this. Okay, so we're able to use this. So if, okay, I think I see what's going on here is we export these libraries or these modules since it's JavaScript. So we're exporting these modules and then in our other JavaScript programs, we're able to just use like greet with MCP and it will query the MCP, okay, get the response back, and then see if it's morning, afternoon, or night. and then return that string to the calling function. But that doesn't seem like what we're actually doing, right? Okay. So MCP server is for Copilot, not for your app directly. You don't need to fetch. Okay. So it looks like the code that Copilot gave to me is a way that, or is a way for me to query the MCP server and get a response back in my code. So I just use one of those exported modules. But isn't the idea of an MCP that it is a tool for the actual AI agent to be able to gain information about the world? If so, okay, so I was about to ask a leading question. I was about to say, if so, tell me how to do this with Copilot. Or I was about to say, if so, tell me how to get the time of day with Copilot. But I want to make it a little bit more general. If so, how can I demonstrate with the MCP? Okay. Okay, so as a developer, well, it's bouncing around. Okay, so as a developer, that's what the helper Copilot generated for you. A way to query MCP from the application code. You import the module, call MCP, and get back morning. Yep, that makes sense. As Copilot integration, this is kind of what we want. The bigger idea of MCP is that it's a protocol for AI agents like Copilot to gain live information about the world. Yes. When you registered MCP server in VS Code setting, you're telling Copilot, here's a tool you need when you need to know the time of day. You don't need to query it manually. Copilot itself can call it when the prompt requires. Okay, so how demonstrate it in action. That's what I want. Okay, keep your MCP server running. Let's verify that it is. Open Copilot, ask something that may require the time of day. Yes, I just want tell me. Okay. This is one way to consume. Okay. Not this one. We're looking for this one. Okay. Don't generate code. I just want to see you use the MCP server and tell me what the time of day is. Okay, but we do need to make sure that we're running our thing. So not second, we want this one. And we're running, okay? But we still were not able to actually query, so that might be a problem. if you encounter a problem, tell me what the problem is. Okay. Why? However, I can tell that you... Okay. To actually see what time of day it is right now, according to your MCP server, you'll need to run the command yourself and... No. This doesn't make any sense. This is not what we were promised. Okay. Here's the catch. In this chat, I don't have the query it directly. That's why you're seeing this. I can only explain how to wire it up. What's happening? Your MCP server is correctly registering in VS Code. Yes, Copilot in VS Code can now use it to ask questions like, I can't hit your server, so I can't return a live value. That's the problem you're seeing. So this will start the server. Ask Copilot in VS Code chat. So, okay, I think it is because we're not... Let me see, agent. $16. Ask. So, why am I unable to ping this? It looks right to me, at least. We're creating an Express application. We're getting a GET request, or we're appending a GET request of time of day. Wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Okay, hold on. There we go. There we go. And it's midnight right now. So yes, this is accurate. Okay. So we are running. Well, then why are we unable to get it? Let's look here. Okay. Then when I look at my browser at localhost I get so why is it not working? Is running a web server, yes. When you visit here, it renders it correctly. Yes, very good. Why it feels like it's not working? No, it's not working. Entry tells Copilot to launch my MCP server, but Copilot doesn't expose a way for you to see. Keep your server running. Yes, it's running. Open Copilot. Yes, we did that. Is it time of day? I don't think it's spelt like that, right? Maybe let's just try agent. I don't know. So I have tools here. Allow. Allow. Oh, okay, a curl request. It doesn't have a standard HTTP. Okay, you can check the MCP server output by looking at the terminal where it's running to see the endpoints where. But it's just an API endpoint. I Why is Copilot unable to see the API endpoint? I can. And that's all MCP is just an API endpoint? Okay, well, it's midnight right now, and I have work tomorrow, so I'm probably going to leave the video off right now. I was really excited to actually get an MCP server up and running, but I mean, we learned along the way, and I feel like tomorrow we're going to make a lot more progress. So, if you want to join me on this journey, subscribe, and we can continue tomorrow. Um, but yeah, a little bit disappointed that we weren't able to get it working today, but that's how it goes sometimes. So we'll be back at it tomorrow, and we'll see how we can go. So thank you for watching. My name is Timothy Lee Grant, and I'll see you guys in the next video.